Hi everyone, my name is Haley Stansky, and today I'm here to help you through the high school lyrical soprano clarinet etude for Alabama. Now, before we dig into this etude, I want to share with you some tips that you can use to mark your music. Here at Jacksonville State University, our clarinet studio uses a coloring system on our music. Red is for all medium and loud dynamics, while blue is for all soft dynamic markings. You'll notice that I also have green on this etude. We like to use green for all tempo or expression instructions. Beside all words that are not in English, I have written out the translation for these words. These markings are crucial to show how our music is played, and our etude is no exception to this rule. These are a few of the colors and markings I use in all my music. If you do this, make sure you get the erasable colored pencils in case you make a mistake. Now let's get to the music. What's the first thing to look for in a new piece of music? We all know the obvious answers: keyed signature, tempo, dynamics, rhythm, etc. The list can go on and on. Once I've scanned the music for all those things, I like to break my music into parts. For this etude, I have found three main ideas. Part 1, or we'll call it Part A, is from measure 1 to the double bar line in measure 17. Part B is at a slightly faster tempo. In the recording, I took the segment around 64 beats per minute. Part B is for measures 17 through 25. Part C is the final part to this etude, and we're back to our original tempo at 56 beats per minute. This part starts in measure 25 at the odd tempo and lasts until the end of the piece. Let's dissect Part A. One of the largest obstacles in this etude are the dynamics. Make sure you're making your crescendos and decrescendos as smooth as you can. An idea to practice that will be to play your scales and make up a dynamic plan that you will follow. Some examples are to crescendo every other note, or to decrescendo for 2 bars and then crescendo for 2 again. Record yourself and listen for any irregularities in your sound. Another problem we might encounter exists in Part A as well as Part C, measures 1 and 2, 5 and 6, 25 and 26, and finally 29 and 30. The issue will be our air support as we decrescendo while moving to a higher note. Our tendency will be to bump the note or give it a small accent. Are you getting that bump in the sound? If so, are you using the correct airspeed? Do me a favor, hiss like a cat. You heard me right. Go ahead, I'll give you 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. Did your cat impersonation make you sound like a sick cat like this? Or did you sound like a cat that bosses all the other cats around like this? The higher your tongue is in the back of your mouth, the higher your hiss will sound. We aim as clarinet players to have the fastest hiss while we play. It directly correlates to tone quality, air support, and dynamic control. Part B gives us a little technical challenge through the rhythms. Also take note of the key change. The most efficient way to get this section under your fingers is to break it down with a metronome. There's no use in wasting time playing it as fast as you can. You'll learn mistakes by muscle memory. Instead, aim to start around 80 eighth notes per minute. Have you written your counts in? There are unusual rhythms in this etude you probably don't see every day. Set yourself up for success by working smarter, not harder. If you need to, take the tiniest portion and slowly speed it up every day. Part C is a varied restatement of Part A. We are back to our original tempo of 56. Notice, the beginning dynamics of this part vary slightly from Part A. We decrescendo from a mezzo forte to a piano instead of from a forte to a mezzo piano at the top of the piece. Do not rush through this section, it deserves its 15 seconds of fame. As I mentioned before in Part B, slow down the rhythms in the last 2 bars if you need to. Consider taking it in eighth notes so that you'll be able to perform the rhythms consistently and correctly. Be careful to not have a spread sound on the last note. It's marked fortissimo and you'll be so excited to have gotten through the entire etude, but just make sure to keep your tone in check.